All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Playback at PAT. This week, for episode 10, we are watching District 9, which is slightly off
Imagine how upset
timing.
we
Are you cold or something?
I am.
So this movie was directed by Neill Blomkamp, or Blomkamp. Not sure on the pronunciation. I've tried to look it up. And it's a sci-fi film from 2009. And it's about
It's the 10-year anniversary of District 9.
Ooh,
wow.
Period.
2
And-
years ago. No. Wait, you
Wait,
say
it was
07 or
2009,
09?
right?
2009, I think.
Okay, that's why I don't work in math.
So this is a sci-fi film about a group of aliens that their ship lands in Johannesburg, South Africa, and they are quarantined off by the government, and they're in the process of getting moved to a new camp when all of the events of the movie take place. So what are your guys' overall opinions?
I think Shakira wrote Waka Waka AA, This Time for Africa about this movie. That's it.
Any opinions about the movie and not Shakira?
No, that's
Tell-
about the movie.
Tell me what this movie was about.
Tell me
'cause I
that isn't
don't
what the
know.
aliens were playing on the when the ship stopped over Johannesburg.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Shakira.
Can't prove
Waka
otherwise.
Waka AA, This Time for Africa. Yeah, I don't know what this movie is about. I watched it, understood some of it, and I just still could not wrap my head around what happened.
I have to tell you, this was another one of the movies where I did my laundry halfway through it, so I definitely missed some of it because I came downstairs and I was like, "Nikki, what happened?" My sister, she said, "Honestly, could not tell you," but it was a movie.
Yeah. Joe?
I liked it. I think I was telling you this yesterday, but the kind of like found footage type stuff at the beginning,
Yeah.
that I felt like was getting a little old. But then right when I felt like that, they kicked it over to the aliens
Yeah.
and started paying more attention to them.
Mm-hmm.
Thought that was perfect timing, but they like almost lost me at that point. And then I don't know, I was pretty locked in for the rest of it. I was freaked out by a lot of like the body horror stuff that was
yeah.
going on. His
For
whole
sure.
transformation.
Yeah.
I think you were sending that to the group text.
I
and-
was very angry.
Yeah, well,
I
you were
was
like, he better not lose any teeth. And then me and Des both were like,
And then it happened, and Jess was like, "Well, it's only 2," and I was like, "Well,
Only
that's
2
more.
teeth.
That's more than like
Only
more than he should
6%
lose."
of his teeth.
No,
well,
you should have
considering
100%.
If he had a full count before that, you never know.
Yeah.
What if he
that's
got his
true.
whizzies out?
That's true.
His whizzies.
Well, I guess then it's a higher percentage.
Do you guys
But
have your
yeah.
wisdom teeth out?
No, I need to.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
hurt sometimes.
I only have a little lost retainers and teeth that are shifting slowly.
At Florida Dump, if you find a retainer, please hit up
Disney
Alex
Dump.
Locke.
It was in Disney. It
Oh,
wasn't in Florida.
excuse me.
It was in Disney. It is in the trash of Disney right now.
Where's Disney?
Lake Buena Vista.
Where's Lake Buena Vista?
Florida.
Yeah.
Do you know how
Uh,
big Florida is?
Yeah, I do.
That's a wide topic of saying.
What if it ended up another dump?
in a
Like the
Florida
the
dump.
trash from the Peabody dump gets shipped to Haverhill.
That is, I didn't know that.
Do you know how
Is
big
that true?
Yeah, so it
Orlando
gets shipped
is?
there, and then it gets burned. So like on 495, those smokestacks in Haverhill.
Sure.
Well, basically, or
See,
it
that
might not be
stresses me out.
495, but if you go up that way, there's a highway, and like there's smokestacks off the highway, and you can see it.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
Peabody pays to have their trash shipped there to be incinerated. Then it gets sent back and processed at a plant that shares the space, or not at the plant. Like some of our metal stuff gets processed at the plant that
My car.
shares the landfill 50-50 with Peabody, and then they put it down there.
That's very District 9 of them.
It is very District 9.
Welcome
though.
back.
The Peabody dump kind of looked like District 9.
Absolutely.
So to close out whatever I was going to say,
Yeah.
my positives of it was I thought the alien characters were really awesome, and my only complaint, I guess, would be, and I guess this maybe was the point, but there weren't a ton of alien characters that were like, or no, sorry, there weren't a ton of human characters that I even liked or wanted to see at all. They were kind of all villains.
Yeah.
Aside from the guy, but he had his moments.
Yeah.
Obviously he was in conflict with himself and other people. But so I mean, he didn't make the best decisions at all times, but he came around, I'd say. We could argue that though.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, no, I just really I had Christopher and his kid. Like they were the OGs. Like I really
Oh
loved
my god.
catching up with them.
He was
Christopher's
silly.
kid is so cute.
He was.
I have to be honest, that was the part of the film that really kept me going.
Yeah. No, same here. And I guess that was, yeah, I could have just said that instead of rambling. But
When he was looking at the hologram of his home planet and
he
his
was
eyes
like,
were all big, I was
loved
like,
it.
oh,
He
get
had,
him
like,
home.
the-
Yeah.
E.T. go
Yeah.
home.
And I was like,
Yeah.
bring him home. Yeah.
for sure.
Can I say
Interesting.
something?
Of course.
That woman's haircut was so unbelievably unfortunate. It was incredible.
Oh, the woman getting interviewed?
Unfortunate.
Yeah,
Capital U.
The
Unfortunate.
sociologist?
Wait, Young Bangs? Did she have like the?
It was like this. It was like.
It was like
It had-
circular, kind of, right?
Yeah.
No, like it went
Yeah.
up here, then like went back down.
Yeah.
There's a Sims haircut that I never use.
For sure.
We've all
For
seen that
what?
haircut in real life.
I think
though.
they're called Betty Bangs.
They're absolutely heinous. Honestly,
That is
what was her
literally
name?
like
Was
a
her name
Sims
Sarah
hairstyle.
Livingstone?
Yeah.
Natalie Bolt? Who
Yeah.
hurt you? If I came on set and someone was like, "So we have a vision, Natalie. We're gonna do this," I would be like, "Cast somebody else, because this isn't happening."
Do you watch Riverdale?
I do not.
Oh.
Can't
do you
say
watch?
I do.
No. Yeah, I don't either.
Joe,
But
do you
she's in
watch?
Riverdale.
Do I come off like
As
I
a
would watch
12-year-old
Riverdale?
girl?
Yeah.
No.
Joe, do you have Visco?
Joe, are you Visco famous?
If you if you looked up my Visco, it would have been from like 2012.
actually-
So I might be doing that.
I love Visco, just the wrong people are on Visco.
Alex is like, I got republished by Visco once.
Oh, well
I
done.
did.
Clout.
Clout. District 9 Visco Clout.
Oh my god.
Do you think? Oh wait, I have another bone to pick too.
Okay. Let's get the bones out there.
What
I'm going to go with
did
the
he choose?
backbone.
Christopher as his name? Like where? Like
I do not
like-
believe so. I believe that
Christopher? Like
it's his
no, thank
assigned
you.
name. I don't think he chose Christopher Johnson. I think he
know.
was given an
Like,
English name.
yeah.
I was gonna say is that
Which-
seemed like part of the. What would you even call that? That would just be the part of the social commentary.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So did you guys pick up on the social
Oh, for
commentary in
sure.
there?
The first
Yeah.
few like 20 minutes, I was able to pick
Absolutely.
up on that.
Absolutely.
I kind of like how it wasn't trying to hide it,
I think
No.
the
which is like
documentary part, like,
yeah.
like that just got me more interested.
Yeah.
If it was more action, like
Mhm.
more like Marvel, like superhero
Yeah.
themed, I would have been so bored.
But I don't
I
feel
would have
like
fallen asleep because I tend to fall asleep at all those movies.
yeah. I
With
don't
the
feel like
blanket.
the social commentary, which was like pretty vast in the movie, took away from the action.
Yeah.
So if
I
you
agree.
like action, you're fine. You
it
got,
opens like a
the
new
gore.
like viewing of like the action,
Absolutely.
and it's like a super cool way to have a new way to look at it, which
Yeah.
I don't really in any of the action movies I see. It's never like that.
Instead of just like bouncing around about like the social commentary, do you
Yeah.
want to kind of enlighten the listeners and the viewers about like what that was trying to portray?
yeah, I can tell you what I know, and then also what
You
I
feel?
picked up from each character or what I feel. So the movie was definitely an allegory for apartheid, which was
It was a vocab word.
apartheid is basically the racial segregation of South Africa. So very similar to like Jim Crow laws that we had here in America. In South Africa, there was like legal separation, things like that. So like literally legal separation of businesses. They wouldn't let you get married if the person was not of your race. And then the big thing is they would relocate based on your race. So they would decide that this was a white area and they would forcibly remove people of color and not allow them there. and all of this stuff is stuff that happened in America as well at a slightly earlier time. Apartheid went on for a little longer. But it was pretty crazy. And so, yeah, they used the aliens to represent all those things. And then for me, I definitely thought there was like commentary on like the military, society when it comes to race, news when it comes to stuff like this, government, and of course, like Vicus's personal perspective. So, like with the military, they were definitely like perceived as like blood hungry, and that like segregation was really great for them because they got to carry out their like crazy aggressive power and their like abusive power because no one was going to say anything because it was against somebody that people didn't care about. And then we get a couple interviews of people that aren't a part of the narrative story, but it's just basically them being like, we don't like them, we find them annoying, and I just want them separated from me. I don't care about learning about them. I don't care about integration. They're just terrible, and I want them separate.
Which is, I mean, that was kind of what dominated the short.
Yes. Yeah,
Which,
absolutely. Do you want to explain the short?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, you had sent us the link, I think, what was that, last week, probably?
Yeah.
And so I watched the movie first, and then did you guys see that, Alex Lily?
No, I didn't get to see it.
I did not get around to it either.
Okay, no worries. But it basically is just like more on the nose, I'd say, with the everything that you just talked about.
Yeah.
And I think they were smart to filter that through the story.
Yeah.
In the feature length version. So I mean, if you guys should go watch it and check it out if you're interested. It seems like you probably won't based off of your opinion.
It's
I'll watch
worth
it. I'll go watch it.
It's good. It's pretty short.
It might be on the bottom of my add to watch later playlist.
So it's only about 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's called Alive in Joburg, and it is basically the pitch piece for this film.
Right.
So he made a shorter film, and then he was supposed to direct. The whole thing ended up coming about because he made this short film. He was supposed to direct a Halo movie produced by Peter Jackson, and that got canned. And Peter Jackson was like, well, I liked your short.
Really?
So they decided to make it feature length. But if anyone has watched it at home, a fun, not so fun fact about it is all the interviews in it that are talking about the aliens that don't directly say alien are actually South African people getting interviewed about Nigerian refugees. So when they're saying like they're gross and they need to be segregated and they're dangerous, those are real people talking about like refugees in their own country.
Right.
Which just adds another really interesting layer to like the background of this film and the truth behind the segregation and all the problems that come with it.
Yeah, it was cool though because there was 2 characters right in the short that also were in the feature.
Yeah, so the main character, who I'm trying not to butcher his name, but I believe it's Charlton. And he's been in a couple things, but he was featured in that. And this is his first feature-length film. And now he's, like, pretty popular. I feel like I see him in a lot. And then the character that played Corbus, the evil military guy, I believe he's in that as well.
Yeah.
For, like, a moment.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. It's amazing. It's a really great short. I would totally suggest checking it out if you are not aliened out. The aliens look a little different, but basic concept, more tentacly versus like insecty, but pretty similar.
Yeah, you sent that like a week ago, and we weren't filming for like another week.
Yeah,
and I usually watch like when we're gonna film like a day or two before, and
right.
I completely forgot about that. It got buried in everything
She got
else.
to do.
Now it has to be explicit.
We can give him a little But it's true though. Senior year is a busy time for you guys.
Scholarship vibes. We just finished
Scholarship
them.
vibes.
Actually, I think I have one
I did
more.
a scholarship about District 9, and I don't think I'm going to get it.
I don't either.
I was actually writing scholarships while I did this.
I was too.
multitasking.
Actually, no, I watched
was
it on
like-
Wednesday so I could do scholarships on Thursday. Do you know what it's like, Joe? Do you know what it's like? You know, maybe
For
if
what?
the aliens got a scholarship, they'd be able to get out there sooner.
Okay, well, I mean that's valid actually. Like if they were given opportunity for, education
Yeah.
or certain jobs that would probably fix the problem.
Honestly,
if they were given that
I'm just
opportunity,
more
would they
impressed.
complain about it?
I was more impressed with how the aliens just spoke to each other. That was the fascinating part.
Oh yeah, I have
How-
that. That's another bone I have
Absolutely.
is that I have to pick is like they like understood the aliens like perfectly without like a device or like something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that was crazy
So
to
they-
me. I'm like, did they come down and were you just like, oh, I got you? Like what? Like
So at that point that we get into the movie, the alien ship has been floating there for 20 years.
Yeah.
20 years.
So I mean, in 20 years, there's going to be some humans who pick up the language.
yes.
My one, if we are going to pick
Your
some
caveat.
beefs, how is that thing flying for 20 years?
right?
It's just hovering there.
It's just hovering.
I feel
So
like that.
their technology is more advanced than us.
Sure.
We don't actually see its engines kick on till the end. So it
Right,
has to
right.
be some sort of like hovering
The car's in
magnetic
neutral.
propulsion something.
In the short, they make
That was something
a
really funny.
point to say that the ship put hoses and tentacles
Oh yeah.
into the power and water sources
Yeah.
from Joburg.
Mhm.
And so I'm wondering if that was the idea that they just didn't even feel the need to put out there. They were just like,
Maybe.
people won't question why it's hanging out there for that long.
Yeah, and I don't think they ended up going with the power and the electrical thing because they decided to go with like the aliens being like in peril. Like when they
Right.
break into the ship, the aliens are malnourished. They're all
Right.
of like the worker bees, they keep calling them, like they're soldier ants.
And that was the
versus-
assumption, but Christopher's a scientist.
Christopher's a scientist, so he did
Christopher.
not.
He was funny.
He was one of the leaders or a scientist or of a different class that actually was intelligent, that wasn't like just short tempered and like I said, they called them like worker bees.
I like feel like if I were like if this plot line were to be like fully like fleshed out like before and after, like not just the time period that it is now, like
yeah.
like stuff that was happening before, like I feel like that would be what I would more enjoy if this movie was about like I don't know, like the backstory almost. I feel like I
The
had a lot of
backstory of the
questions
aliens?
like about the aliens and everything, and like it might just be like it's probably just me, but like I feel like I just
get
had a
that.
lot of I had a lot of questions that like
Yeah.
weren't really addressed because they wouldn't further the plot necessarily.
But isn't that like a sign of a good film is that you're leaving with questions and like they hinted at so many things. Like we got to see like a brief moment of their language through him using the flight machine at the end. We got to see a brief explanation, I guess, of where it is. It's outside our solar system. He moves and goes to a different one before zooming in. We know it's bigger than us. We know it has 7 moons. Like all of these things were explained, but I totally would take more, of course.
Yeah, I like the style that was filmed. I kind of like
Yeah.
I like
the
how
documentary style.
It
I
really
feel like
reminded me of The Office for what?
Yeah, well-
literally for what? I just got
For
reminded
what?
me of that. I don't
Well,
even
'cause-
watch The Office, and
Well, I
there's
mean,
this
it
one
starts in an
scene-
office, right?
Yeah,
There's this
and
one. Sorry, I keep on interrupting.
Yeah.
There's this one scene in The Office. You guys know. You're gonna know it more than I am. Where they're just like shuffling around, and it's like some weird madness episode, and it's the prank.
the
It's
one
when the
where
fire alarm or something
oh
like.
yeah.
That's what it reminded
Same
me
energy.
of. It really gave me the same energy.
Well, like The Office, it is filmed like partly
documentary.
partly, and then partly they do like traditional cinema. So they shoot it regular and amazing, but they also mix
I like
it.
that. That it weighed. It was like a good
Yeah.
Yeah.
mix.
Because if it just stayed the mockumentary, it would have felt very Cloverfield like.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know what year Cloverfield came out. They're probably around the same time.
A little out.
A little
oh
after,
yeah, you're
a
right.
little before. I'm not sure.
Just post 9/11,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's basically
Do you
me
think
and
the
Alex.
aliens, when they were making their language, they were like, just ignore vosotros? Like every other Spanish teacher in the universe of high school.
Oh my god.
Because that's what their language reminded me of. Like, how do you just plan a language and then
There are people that can write languages.
really just like
Shout
build
out
a society
Dothraki.
off that?
Mhm.
Because
Valerian.
high school
Yeah.
Spanish teachers
You
built a
could learn
society off of not
High
using
Valerian on
Visotros.
Duolingo.
I know.
Duolingo sponsor this
Do you
movie.
think that there's a Duolingo for District 9 alien language? Had to ask.
In that universe, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I love those.
So the
memes.
thing they use most to make the language is this weird instrument that's like a frog collar. It literally looks like someone has tied a string to the end of a pencil and then tied that string to a little cup. And somehow, by putting it near your mouth, I don't know what you're doing with it, it makes this weird, stringy, clicky noise, and it sounds a lot like what they sound like.
Their language
culture.
is very satisfying to listen to.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, I like the clicks, the clicking.
Yeah.
Like, it sounded nice.
Yeah,
was
I like
almost
the way they did it.
ASMR a little bit.
Oh, definitely a
For
vibe.
sure.
District
ding,
9 ASMR. Yeah, and it had like highs and lows, and there was something like real about it. So like before you see translation, like the aliens will say something, and you're like, all right, like I know what they're saying
Like,
in
they
response. Like I
have-
know when they're saying yes or no, at least.
They have, like, intonation. And
Yeah,
they have, like,
absolutely.
A pentameter, like
Absolutely.
it makes sense. Like it sounds like like they're saying something
Yeah.
because they have like intonation and their voice raises and falls at
Yeah.
certain points. Like it I guess it
was
helps make the movie seem like more like real, and it helps it like it's more palatable that way.
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely. And then speaking of making it feel real, this movie was done 10 years ago, and
It looks.
that's a lot of
fire.
special effects,
That's
CGI.
CGI.
That was
that
pretty G.
It was good.
it
That was
doesn't
good.
stand out at all. I have that
See?
problem with like modern CGI where it like, you know, when like on old Scooby Doo episodes when like you knew the
I
background was gonna
literally
move because it's
love
like
Scooby-Doo.
slightly different color and
Yeah.
texture. I always feel like that with CGI that is never like fully integrated.
You
But
It looked
you can tell like
real.
the lighting for the person's a little too bright.
yeah,
A lot
like,
of the
things feel
outside-
off.
Yeah.
The outside look with like all the like rocket ship stuff. It reminded me of like Call of Duty. I don't even play Call of Duty.
Oh, I can see why you're saying that.
like
they
the
have,
load.
like,
It gave me loading screen vibes. Yeah,
Oh,
very specific.
Oh, for
Wow,
sure.
yeah.
With like the little huts and like the wide
And
shot
then
of
it's
huts
just
and the
like-
ship, that's loading screen.
And then it's
vibes,
just like your character's moving like this for like 20 minutes.
And it's like
waiting for you to
Christopher.
click X.
And his little like mandibles come out every once in a while.
Oh yeah.
Wait, do you guys know that GTA meme where it's like, blank, here we go again? Yeah, that's all over my timeline right now. That's Christopher with this whole
That's
movie.
Christopher every time Wickus shows up.
Oh my god, he's like, please stop. Please.
Okay, I have to talk about the fight scene at the end.
The
with,
ending
like,
scene.
with the bald guy.
Can we do a chapstick break and before you go on to that?
Brought to you by the Community
Oh my God.
Chapstick. Alex, you have to close it on the
I
mic.
hate you.
As
I hate it.
as the elder members of this podcast, we do not endorse or encourage a community chapstick.
No,
That
it's
falls
gross.
under the realm of 2019 Coachella vibes, and we do not want any of
I
that.
have to scream.
Get that away from me right now, dude.
Now you're part of it.
Perfect. Wait, I'm not gonna finish that.
The chapstick that keps on giving.
yeah. Oh
But,
yeah.
yeah, that keeps on giving.
I'm gonna take that
I
back.
hate
You put that in my hood.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't open. I'll accept it.
Oh, before we get into the fight,
Okay.
fun fact.
Yeah.
So 2 fun facts actually.
Community Chapstick's good for everybody.
Vomit. No. So the place that they're filming in, since we were talking about it, it had a community in it, and they literally were moved right before filming, and they happened
Really?
to take the area for filming, not because of filming,
I'm-
but the way it worked out, and it kind of was interesting how that lined up with the film.
I was about to say, if they really push these people out of their own home to
For
film
this
that movie,
No.
movie.
that would
No,
be really,
but they were
really...
pushing them out of their homes for other things. And then the guy that plays Christopher Johnson, so like a lot of the stuff is done in practicals, obviously, but and he plays Christopher Johnson and like pretty much like 90% of the aliens. He's the other interviewer, not the one with the bangs that you don't like, but that
She
other
was
guy
my
we see
queen.
all the time.
With like the brown hair.
Yeah, the brown
like,
hair
normal
guy.
looking one.
Yeah. So he is Christopher Johnson
Oh.
and a lot of the other prawns.
My sister goes, so is he the eye candy for this episode, for this show? And I said, I hope not.
Nah.
There really wasn't one. Had to say it. I mean, unless you're
I
into
feel
bald
like creating
dudes,
this
but
whole cast on like
Nah,
Sims,
Vegas is cool.
create a sim would be super easy.
it would. Like all these
It's
people
all
look like
it's all the
Sims.
base game content.
But to get to this fight scene,
Yeah.
all I have to say is that they were killing those things so easy, those prawns left and right.
Yeah.
But it took them about 18 years, 19 years to even try to get close to killing Christopher. And like you know what I mean? Like just like the way it happened and like
He just
even
lucked out.
like even trying to kill like Vicus or whatever, like
Yeah.
it just took so long. Me and my sister just like kept getting mad about it. It's like you're able to kill everyone else like so quickly,
Yeah.
but like it's just taking forever.
That's kind of a classic action movie.
I
trope,
know,
too,
but like
where
I
it's
I don't really like
Yeah.
action.
Yeah, I
movies.
don't watch action movies. So
Yeah,
this was
so
a very
there's a series called
specific movie
Mission
for me to
Impossible where for several dozen movies people are trying to kill Tom Cruise
Y'all
and he
hear something?
just gets away every time.
Do
So
you
That's
have Tom Cruise
because-
teeth?
I hate Tom Cruise.
y'all hear
He's
something.
a Scientologist.
Yeah, I know.
Smiling
That's the
He's been-
problem.
He's been to Brooksby Farm.
He shouldn't be welcome.
Are there Scientologists? I don't think there's too many Scientologists over at Brooksby.
He's been there. There's a picture.
There's-
I
Oh, you,
used
s-
to-
you
there's
said
a-
Brooksby Farm. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking Village.
What's the difference?
I'm
Which one
pretty
doesn't
sure
have
in Lynn there's
apples?
a Scientology church.
Oh,
so
really?
we
On
taking
the
a field?
beach.
We
There's
taking
one
a
in
field
Boston
trip?
too.
On the beach.
I guess at the. Oh wait,
Let's go
so
to the beach.
I have
Beach.
insider information. I
All
have
right.
a neighbor who lives in or she's not a neighbor anymore because she lives in L.A. You know they have all those Scientology church houses
Yeah.
out there. They had an Easter brunch at the Scientology church,
Cute.
which doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make too much sense.
See, yeah.
I had a Lyft driver.
Who's a Scientologist? Please tell
Well,
me.
hold on. So I was getting on a flight.
Yeah.
I get the lift over from North Station because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get there soon enough to like trust the T. And so I'm getting over there. He's driving.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to California. And he's like, oh, I go to California all the time. I was like, oh, cool. Like, what do you do out there? You got work or whatever. He's like, I am what is it called when you do the
A missionary?
It's like the processing or whatever they call it.
Like an ambassador, like it begins with an M, I'm pretty sure.
I think you might be right.
I
But it's-
was reading about some of them yesterday.
Yeah, it's the person who hooks people up to the machine and asks them all the questions.
Oh.
And so he's one of those guys. And he was telling me about it, and it was fascinating. And I'm a Scientologist now.
I gotta go.
No, I'm kidding. But
Just
like
smile
it
and
was,
nod, y'all.
it was funny to meet someone like in Boston just randomly.
Yeah.
Because there's not a
Yes.
ton of people around here
Yeah.
who will admit, even if
No.
they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think we should go around and talk about our like favorite scenes from the movies, favorite shots, like
With that.
and like why, you know?
Absolutely.
It's, I feel like it's
I'll
a
go
good-
first.
Okay.
No. No.
What a surprise.
I'll go first. So I liked the way they introed it. The way they introed it as the mockumentary style.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it from a movie like this because I knew that it was going to be aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And when they introduced it like this, I thought it was really interesting because you expect aliens to be like really modern looking like movie and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But you see this guy in like plain drab clothes and like
Yeah.
an old like office building, like and
Mhm.
it's just like looks dated,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not what you
It
expect.
grabbed the reader's attention quick.
It's like a, it's
the
like
reader?
as my
The
AP
reader.
Lang teacher would call it.
Yeah.
It's like a sexy
The
title.
viewer.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely. Cool intro.
My favorite. Oh, I got too excited. My favorite scene. I don't really remember the whole plot of the scene. I just whenever they were in, they had like a weird birthday party.
Oh,
Scene.
they had his
Oh,
party.
Whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, his party.
When
that
he
was fun.
first gets
I
sick.
forgot.
I think that was
about
my
that
favorite
one.
scene because
Yeah.
when I saw even the Netflix poster for this,
Yeah.
I would not expect a normal birthday party, and it looks sort of fun. I was not expecting that within the first like 15 minutes of this film, and then
Yeah.
to see this and having what Lily said, this they're like casual clothes. And when you think of alien movies, you think of like futuristic dystopian.
It
You're not thinking
seemed
about like
Yeah.
a Sears.
Too mundane,
Well-
mundane for this movie. And like you wouldn't expect it, but it works.
It
Well,
worked
they
pretty
say right
well.
at the beginning, like you expect aliens to land in like New York and Manhattan and like even Chicago or something.
They say
DC.
DC.
But the director's from South Africa. And so he's like,
He
I
said,
grew up.
Represent.
Well, he grew up watching this stuff and being like, what would it be like
You know what
if
he
they
said?
showed up?
It's time for Africa. That's what he
I think
said.
I have an EQ. If aliens showed up to the North Shore, what would it be like?
Wait. No,
After,
wait. Before
well,
we
yeah, let's
before we
finish
get
your
into
favorite
this.
Let's
scenes,
finish. Yeah.
and then we can do some EQs.
If the aliens
yeah.
showed up to revitalize the downtown, what would happen?
Next
they would-
Max.
Maybe they would finally open Maki. I'd be like, all right, this is bull. We gotta move this along.
They'd see the Peabody Dog Park and they're like, "Oh man!"
They're gonna be like, Eastman Gelatin, Rooslat, you are no longer the biggest landowner in
They're
Peabody.
like,
Give
"But-"
me this.
They're like, "What's a pop-up pub?"
Wait, so you make ice in the form of a bar? What's the point? Won't it melt?
Favorite scene, Joe?
Man, I had forgot about the birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
That one's sticking
was
out
it a birthday?
strong.
Fun.
It was like a congratulations on your promotion.
It's a
party.
birthday party.
Actually,
in my
you're
brain
right.
because of this
Yeah,
movie.
it was a congratulations. I think you're right.
birthday party
Um,
vibes.
Congratulations on being born or just like getting a promotion. We don't really know. It was a celebratory event.
And
Yeah.
it also reminded me of The Office.
King of the Office.
Where is Pam?
Hannibal.
I don't even watch The Office, and it reminded me of The Office.
Say it
would-
again. louder
I
for
would
the people
say
in the back.
though, I'm not gonna double up on that scene. I'm gonna go with the. I'm gonna go when he shows up to the place to go try to get guns, and they underestimate him, and then he reaches over and gets that alien gun, and that's when you realize that he can
And then
interact
he's like,
with
meat claw.
exactly. And he's
there's,
like,
like,
pew, and he gets like the lightning gun going, and people are just like,
Yeah.
And-
just like,
he's like, "Ew, ew," and
Pop,
then
pop,
It
pop.
was really sad when they had him shoot that alien.
so I was going to use that as
Sorry.
not my favorite scene, but definitely the scene that I like felt the most in
wait, which one?
was when they are testing or running tests on Vicus and they have him strapped and they're cattle prodding him to use the guns. And he's like sobbing. They keep using the pigs. And then they finally bring out one of the aliens to see if
Oh,
it will
right.
like be effective on
yeah.
them. And he like has a switch at that moment where he's like, listen, I'll keep shooting the pigs. Like, let me just shoot the pigs. Like, and you can see the alien like see what's about to happen and process it, and it's like really messed up. And like the acting on that is amazing.
yeah,
oh, well.
wild.
That was sad. I was like, oh no.
That was a dark scene.
yeah.
Heavy.
And then when Christopher shows up after Joe's scene and he sees what they're doing to the aliens and he just stops moving
He shook.
until Vicus like yells about his kid. That was another scene that was just like, oh, that must be heartbreaking.
Yeah, this like that reminded me a lot of they did the syphilis experiments. It was like the
Tuskegee.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like that's kind of what that reminded me of. It basically
Definitely.
they took like African Americans and like I don't know how to explain it. They just like tested on them like without like against their will and stuff like that, and just like really awful, unimaginable things. And that's just like what that reminded me of.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was definitely getting like World War II Nazi
Nazi,
doctors
yeah.
Yep.
vibe.
That's it's the same energy.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like I felt the same because I had to do, or I did a research project on the Henrietta Lacks book.
Oh, wow, the
for
life-
school back in the day.
Yes,
Fascinating
that book is
story.
amazing, and that's what
But-
that reminded me of too.
Exactly, because it's all connected to Johns Hopkins Hospital, back back in the day. But yeah, no, very very relevant
They
to all
like
this.
they took her cells without her knowing and everything. Just
For
like
sure.
yeah, that's another thing for another day. But that's yours, the scene with the...
Yeah, I would say that, or towards the end, like right when Kubis thinks he beat Vicus, we get a reveal of like one of my favorite pieces of special effects. It's when Vicus has the yellow eye.
Oh yeah.
And he's like literally halfway through transformation. So his whole like left half is all the jagged edges coming out of his skin. I just think that looks so good.
Yeah, that was good.
It's such a great piece of special effects. It's like more advanced than what we'd seen most of the movie, not him in his full transformation. So this like kind of in the middle. And that's only like several minutes after he finally like put someone before himself, because he's been putting himself first pretty much the whole time. Classic human action.
Yeah.
Hubris.
Yeah. So what did you guys think about Vicus's transformation, both physically and his mental transformation?
I have to scream. I have to.
Yeah.
Because
He transforms so well emotionally.
Besides that, obviously, you know, the whole like physical transformation, like he loses his fingernails, which me and Joe were talking about earlier, is very, very reminiscent of one certain SpongeBob episode.
Oh my
with
god.
Squidward and his toenail on. I can't even talk about it. Him and SpongeBob are moving furniture.
Yeah.
And the furniture is on Squidward's toenail. And he moves the.
You
he
need
moves
to
the
stop.
chair.
You need to stop.
They cut to a close up,
And
and,
it-
it's like
It's like the skin and the like, and like
Okay.
everything being pulled out of
Like the
Squidward's.
nail comes off?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I did this
Oh.
once. I dropped something on one of my toenails or one of my toes, and the nail turned black and fell off.
yeah.
My
And
cousin
I was like, is it going to grow back? I was like, am I just going to have like 4 toenails on
I-
my foot?
This past week,
Gross.
as in, like,
Trigger warning.
Thursday, I got a mini like micro-sized wood splinter right in
Underneath
between
your-
my
Yeah,
nail
it's a
and my
cringy
finger.
area.
It's a rough
And it was
spot.
terrible. Like I just remember like feeling like doing like this.
Yeah.
And then I had to like
Yeah.
bite my nail because I didn't have any clippers or anything, and I was not home.
Sanitary.
Yeah, I know. And,
But,
and I got it out, but I just remember like the pain
Yeah.
and in such a little spot, and I was
Yeah.
like, why does my brain signal me when stuff hurts? That was the
Yeah.
first thing that
I
came to
do
mind.
believe that my cousin once sent my little sister his toenail that fell off because it was like, so we have our family fishing trip,
So,
and
I
Lizzie
wa-
was like, "You're gonna send me your toenail when it falls off, right?" I was like, "A joke," and then he actually sent it to her in a little Manila folder,
Manila.
an envelope. Excuse me.
I was gonna say the first time it happened to me was in high school, or maybe late middle school, early
Yeah.
high school, because it was like starting to run a lot. And
Oh,
if
wow.
you ever do that, like people who run marathons and stuff, that
They
happens
have
to
no
them
toenails?
constantly. Well, it's just kind of it happens because like
I
your
just
foot,
don't like talking about toes.
Yeah.
your foot hitting the pavement. I'll stop, but
I don't really
No,
know
I
a
can
pinky
get
toenail.
I mean,
that
I'm
was
part
the
of
first
film.
time it happened to me, and I was
Yeah.
thinking the same thing. I was
Yeah.
like, is it gonna come back?
Yeah.
Like, am
If
I
you-
just forever toenailless?
Yeah.
If you
I was like,
damage your
am I
nail
gonna have
bed,
to
it won't
paint?
grow back. So
Right.
like, that's like a
Well,
thing.
I already had a plan of how to paint it, so we're ready.
You were good. You're
I was like,
prepared.
all right, so if I get two-tone color, I could probably make it look like a toenail.
You could.
Yeah. but
You're
the
good at
toenail.
shading. You could like get it,
Right?
you know, like
But like
Get some
one
highlight
day
on there.
someone would get close and they'd be
Venti
like,
beauty.
Absolutely not. Which toe was
that
it?
pre-Fenty.
Because if it's your big toe, you're done.
it was my big toe. It was
Oh.
the second one in.
I am just curling my toes up right now. Like,
Yeah.
get away
Yeah,
from me.
it's-
Don't take
It's
them off.
definitely a cringy thing. His whole transformation had a lot of
Oh,
cringy factors. So he
for
had
sure.
the
the
teeth
nails come off. Then he had the bloody black liquid
out of
nose.
his nose.
yeah.
He got really hungry.
He vomited a bunch. He started having a taste for cat food.
that was gross.
Which
I'm
they
like
explained
starting
as
to realize
catnip.
I would not want any of this to ever happen to me. This is like fears I wouldn't even think
Yeah.
about.
Just
If y-
realizing.
well, no, but like
Yeah.
I just never thought I'd have to be seeing a movie with all this torturous
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
and,
And
then,
then, like,
His
realizing,
teeth fell out. He had to
Uh,
peel pieces of his skin that were being pushed
Like,
off.
I cried.
didn't see that part. That's when I was doing my laundry.
That was probably one of my least favorite effects. he's getting all these spikes coming out, and they're pushing off his skin, and he literally just like peels it back, and it's like, oh man,
Yeah.
and then just like rips it off.
I remember being like 9 and my sister talking about Saw, which is a movie
Yeah,
that
I
I have
feel like I've
never
had a
seen and I've
discussion
never
like
wanted to
this,
see. And that was the same energy that I was
Yeah.
getting, and like it makes my
Yeah.
fingernails hurt. Like
Yeah.
The first one was good.
I like it's so
Yeah.
gross. And then
Yeah.
like his teeth, like
I
I
cried-
literally was like, we can't, like if he loses teeth, I will not watch the rest of this.
Yeah.
I still watch the rest of it.
Thank you for
I
being a
cried
champ.
thinking about like my teeth shifting from losing my retainer. I couldn't imagine crying from someone ripping my teeth out and
I had a
losing my
tooth
teeth.
that I got pulled in 5th grade that didn't grow in until sophomore year of high school. Sophomore
I
and
was
junior
there for
year.
that.
Yeah, like this one right here.
Ah.
It wasn't there. I can show you pictures. Even when I was here. Sophomore year is when it started to grow in. So the first time I did summer PYTV, there's a video of me eating a cricket that Desiree made me eat a cricket.
I did. I
And
made
then-
children eat crickets.
You saw me
They
eat it, and then
volunteered.
you see
Well,
I had the sea salt and vinegar one.
Alex. Yeah, we split one, and I got the back half, so it didn't have the head.
I had the bacon one.
Wait, so these are not just crickets from like out back. They're like actual like sautéed crickets.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
they're
For
sauteed
sure.
crickets in like a flavor powder.
Okay.
They were gross.
I think my mom got them from me. Like
I think
on a
that's what you said.
vacation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was
it's,
like,
it's such
"Ugh."
a New Hampshire pit stop.
Yeah, I'm pretty
snack.
sure that what is
You
exactly
can
what
also
happened.
get them at because we went to the army barracks a few days later
Yeah.
in
I
Salem
feel like
while we were
it would
walking
be New
around,
Hampshire.
and they were in there. And then they also have swords. in
Yeah.
there.
They were like,
Joe.
Ray, I was antiquing and then I saw this and I'm going to get it for you. It's gross. Like, yes, Mom.
Okay. Sounds good.
Is that your mom, Des?
That's my mom.
I was
Judy.
the
not even her name.
accents.
That's not her name.
Now that we're on voices,
Yeah.
did you guys know what a South African accent was?
I feel like
I
I,
mean,
did, but
You were
went
mocking
right
it
through
the
me.
day I watched it,
Joe-
but beforehand.
Mocking is not
Not
what I was
mocking.
doing.
He
You
was
were
doing-
you were
He
you
was
were
Impersonation.
impersonating
Yeah.
it. That's it.
Poor
Joe
sure.
has an
Poorly.
amazing
For sure.
South African
Do you want
accent.
Please don't do it.
I only knew South African because of Diane Word.
Oh,
Because
I'm not
I really
gonna
like their
do that.
music. I got into them a while back. And then, like, they did a short film where you, like, hear them talk because it's kind of hard when you're rapping. It just sounds like crazy. So I knew it from that. But otherwise, I haven't ever really seen South Africans represented in movies except The Color of Friendship.
I actually have. I lied. I once watched a video done by either Vox or Time because Johannesburg was going through a huge drought, and so they could only use like 13 gallons of water a day, which sounds like a lot, but like it's not at
No,
all.
Not for sure.
And like think about it. Like I don't know why I know this, but like my toilet at home, like it's 1.6 gallons every time you flush.
right.
So it's like
How do
crazy.
you know your flushing
That-
measurements?
It says it on the
It says
thing.
it on the
says it,
toilet.
but also that sounds crazy.
Wait,
Right
so
now that you
That's a
think about
lot.
it.
do I need
it's
to
a
know
lot.
that when I enter my adult
Yeah.
years?
It's on
That's
the
what-
SATs.
It is. Too bad we already took them.
Wait, Des, do
Yeah,
you know
fair
your
enough.
toilet measurements right now?
Oh, yeah. No, I don't.
Do you
Also, I know that
Should I
the
be
There's those
concerned?
ones with the 2 buttons, and I think
My
the whole
parents
point
have
of
one of those.
I hate those.
I
no,
hate
Those are
those
so
too.
those are
bad.
good.
Why? Those are good. 'Cause
Are they
you-
good for the Envo? Because I'm
Yes.
Team Envo.
One
Yeah.
button means
Alex-
It's just like
Alex is like all these people posting with their visco filters on Mother Nature. Post a picture with
I
like
purposely
this,
did
the
that to
grain
shape-
and saturation all the way up on
I
his
purposely
Insta.
did that because I was making fun of myself. Yeah, and I
you-
was
what
waiting
was-
for someone
what
to
was
call
your
me
comment?
out.
What was your
Don't
caption?
get
T.
the
I will
reference.
show
All
it
right.
to you later.
All right,
But,
so
But about those toilets. Whenever I am using those toilets, my hands are like my fingers, and then it's just whatever one goes first, and then I wash my hands.
you need to do the like smaller one.
They're also
'cause there's one
uneven,
with,
so
like,
it's beyond irritating.
There's one without with like one little
One
water
wa-
droplet, and then
and
there's
two.
like 2.
Well, I
You
think
need
that
the
was
one.
But I'm not paying that much attention when
Well,
I'm
you
just.
should if you care about the
Yeah.
environment.
Yeah,
Don't be
environment king.
fake deep.
I'm not.
I don't-
He is.
fake
I don't want
deep.
to ever
I-
hear about straws or plastic covers from Alex again.
Well,
if
you're
he
hitting the
doesn't-
2-drop button
You're
every
hitting the
time.
2 drop every
Well,
time.
I'm gonna
He's
be
a young
honest.
'Cause that's the
1.6
animal's
gallons over
home.
here.
Yeah.
Through my daily life, I the toilets I use, the one in here is just one button, and
Right.
then
Yeah.
the one at my house is.
The knob.
Flushy.
So that's it.
I
I don't really use those bathrooms a lot. So you guys, if you want to call me fake deep, gotta know my toilet schedule, my toilet routine, and what my
Alex is
toilet's
like,
like.
did
where
you
it's
know that my
located
toothbrush
in
is made out
house."
of yogurt cups?
Indeed, it is.
Did you know that the environmental impacts of having a community chapstick is very beneficial to the sea turtles because they don't eat the
The
chapstick?
amount of PAT chapstick I'm sure you've lost deeply outweighs the impact of the community chapstick.
I think I lost
Again,
the one I took
gross.
today.
Yeah, exactly.
But yes, so in conclusion of that, I have heard a
Yeah.
I have heard a South African accent before.
All right,
this.
so now we should hear from the South African himself.
South African.
It's like funny
Can you
Australian.
say for what?
I'm kind of close, but it's.
For what?
I feel like this is maybe more New Zealand.
Yeah. You're going
Oh,
the wrong direction.
I don't
mate.
know. It
Yeah.
all sounds
Sounding
weird.
more like a Kiwi.
My
little
peripheral
bit.
vision just saw. I thought instead of him adjusting the mic, I thought he was adjusting his lip to like get the right.
He was
mix.
like,
just
ready,
like,
my
"Yee."
accent?
I
But
also
they-
have to say, go ahead.
Oh, I just like how they turn their A's to E's. So it'd be like African. Like that was like my favorite thing
Yeah.
to say. I'm not good at it aside from that.
I think it's good.
But I feel like their names, like Vicus, like
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like that's not what I would expect in South Africa. Like, was that like a Dutch colony?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that makes more sense now.
I heard, and I
Lily
don't know if
loves
this is
Dutch
accurate,
accents.
but if
It's
you
Scottish.
do speak what?
I'm talking to Alex.
Oh, if you do speak Dutch, you can recognize a lot of words from South
Afrikaans.
Africans.
Because it's a mix, right?
I believe
Of a couple different,
so.
2 or 3.
I gotta sadly.
So is
I'm
English.
not as
True.
English is like
knowledgeable as I should be about it.
Latin and German and yeah. I
It's
saw a
whack.
chart and it was like the closest language like you can learn to it is like German and Dutch.
My boss actually was South African the first job out of high school that I had during that summer. And I forget where her
Mr.
name
B.
Janine, I think maybe was her name. I can't remember.
I know
But
what
she
race
liked
is
grilled
Janine.
cheeses with no butter. That was her order every single day. Because I was on the grill ski. Was flipping them patties.
Weird.
Can you make a good grilled
No
cheese?
butter.
Oh, I can make a killer grilled cheese as
Oh, we
long as you
might
let
need
me
to-
use butter.
Toasty.
We might
Honestly,
have
you
to
might have to
take
like,
you up on
take-
that
yeah.
offer. It
I
wasn't an
literally-
offer, but there is now.
GC.
Are we
and
doing
I
a
got
cooking
you
show with
creamy
Joe?
tomatoes.
We were gonna do grilling with Gus so many years ago, but he was like, "No, I'm not doing that."
I'm still waiting
It's all
for.
gonna be healthy food.
I'm still
Yeah.
waiting for
Well,
cereal.
no, he'll cook brisket and stuff.
I'm waiting for
Yeah.
Cereal with City Officials by Alex Locke.
And then I was
'Cause
also gonna
that's been
do
my
word on
idea
the
since
street,
2016. Like,
kind
Joe,
of like
you
Billy
weren't even
Eichner.
like an idea.
Cereal with the counselors.
Yeah, like the
Something
mayor
like
was.
that.
The
It
mayor
was
and I
gonna
would have a
be
great time.
It was gonna be Chipotle chops,
But then
but then we
that's
weren't gonna be
copyright.
sponsored. And then it was gonna
Oh.
be cereal with city officials. And then we were gonna do word on the street to go out and ask people on the streets opinion on like policies in the city. But then that never happened. And then we were gonna do word on the street 10th episode on Halloween in City Hall overnight with the mayor.
See, all of those ideas are tremendous. You should definitely pitch them.
I just did.
No, I'm aware, but like
We've tried.
in a
A
real
real setting?
meeting. Yeah.
We try, and then we get.
When
a,
do we have meetings?
Then we get a head
We
home
can
guys
create one.
text from Gus.
Yeah, and then Gus is like, "Good job, guys. When are you going to be able to do this?" And I'm like, "Well, actually, I'm busy Monday through Friday."
Actually,
Well, actually,
Metaphorically,
well, Des came into this
essentially.
podcast actually with many notes and specific. Because how many times is this now that you've seen it? Have you lost track?
Yeah. So when it first came out, I watched it a bunch of times. I kind of fell in love with it. And I was like, yes, like this is what it needs to. Like this is my type of movie.
District
Um,
9.
my sister was like, "Wait, so this isn't a Hunger Games movie?"
Yeah.
That was
Israel
me when
stole
she
it.
told me about this. I've literally
He was
said
like,
that.
they made a movie about District 9 from Hunger Games? Yeah, no, I kind of loved it. It's one of very few films that I'm like, yes, I love this. This is my style. This is what I want from cinema. Yeah, but this is the first time I've rewatched in years.
Oh,
Years. And I was surprised how well.
She's a new woman.
Yeah, how well it held up. How well the
What?
CGI held up.
That's That CGI.
It looked pretty G.
Snapped.
It was really great. I
Game
still
of Thrones
really,
ain't got nothing on District 9.
It's true.
Nothing.
Yeah, I still really loved it, and I was more so I knew about the segregation and apartheid message, but I thought it was really great that I got a little more in terms of like society factors and like a deeper look at Vicus's transformation.
You're more woke, is what you're saying.
I don't know if I'm going to use it, but I would like to think
Feminist
so.
of the year.
So yeah, I really liked it this time around. It was really great, and I did do a crazy amount of research into Neill and his directing, just because I really liked it. I haven't seen Elysium, which is his other. He has 3 feature films at this point, so it's District 9, first feature, which is crazy. That's your first film. 2 is Elysium, and 3 is Chappie, which is the robot movie that came out.
I feel like I kind of know what that is.
Yeah, and that features Diane Ward, which is the rap group I was telling you
I
about.
thought you were going to say Diana Ross.
No, I don't believe she's in it, but Hugh Jackman's in it, and is it Dev Patel? I believe so,
I
and
can't remember. I saw it a while ago.
and Charlotte's in
Oh.
it.
He's a
lot of
Slumdog
the-
Millionaire, isn't he?
Yes, that guy. He's in it.
Oh, well, that movie.
He's great.
They scoop out the kid's eyeballs with a
I
hot
want-
spoon. That was gross.
I want Neill and Shakira.
Or
Wait,
no,
to-
they don't
what?
scoop them out. They blind them with like a hot spoon.
In what?
Slumdog Millionaire.
Oh yeah, they did.
I
That's a
don't
heavy
remember that
movie.
part.
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
I want
I watched that when I
Neill
was
and
young.
Shakira to collab again and make Waka Waka, the
Well-
Central Africa Part 2, and he directs the
Oh
music
my
video. And it's not about soccer. It's about District 9.
So, Tess, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
No, this is serious. Do you
Is
think
it?
that this movie should have had a sequel? Because
That's-
I briefly
her
looked it up, and like everybody
EQ.
was like, "Where's District 9 too?"
Yeah.
Do you
District
think
18.
District 10,
it was actually? Yeah, that's probably what it would have
because
been.
that's where they moved.
Because
I think.
District
I think
Squared.
I looked up
81.
a picture to send to my sister of Wickus,
Yeah.
and then like all the like like on Google it's like the picture and it's like the title it comes from. It was all about where's District 10. So
Yeah.
as the expert here,
Yeah, I mean, I think if he could do it, that like it still stayed true to the original.
Mhm.
Either a prequel about the years prior,
I'd be here for that.
or a sequel about Vicus. So when we leave him, he's fully transformed. He's said to have disappeared,
He's green.
but we see that that's not true. His wife gets a
Oh,
flower made out of like tin.
She was annoying.
And then, yeah, we cut
Tanya.
to Vicus.
Yeah, she was not necessarily a 3-dimensional character.
Yeah, no,
she was
he
like 1D.
The wife.
Compared to the
Not to be
guy's
confused with
wife
One
from Free
Direction.
Solo, she ain't it.
Sonny?
I already
Yeah.
forgot her name.
Shout out Sonny. She was really cool.
No, I don't. Was it Sonny? I think it was Sonny.
Yeah.
It was.
That was you holding the baby today. Was Alex Honnold?
her,
You were like,
yeah,
It wasn't even a real baby, and I was mad uncomfortable.
I'll show you that
If
picture.
Sani had a Finsta, it'd be Dasani. The water bottle.
That's actually pretty good.
So, what are some other things that you want to make us aware of, or maybe some like dope
Shout it out.
trivia?
I mean,
Oh, can
after
I
Des,
ask
I have
about
a few
something?
EQs for you guys to answer.
Sure.
Wait,
After Dez
I
goes
have,
on
I have a
her-
question.
Cool facts and
So, like, was there anything like more to those like people who were like selling stuff to the people, to the little aliens? You know, I think they were the Nigerians or something.
Yeah, there was a Nigerian gang group, we'll call
Okay.
them. What
Just like
about them?
Just like who, like, what were they doing? Like, who are they?
What was their whole
why
thing?
were like why were they there? How
so-
did they help?
The Nigerians, this specific gang has always been hustling, basically, they say,
Oh.
and looking for scams and ways to, like every other gang, to make quick money, to be involved in any crime anywhere. So the leader is paralyzed from the waist down, and yeah, he's in a wheelchair. We never see him stand up, if you did not notice, which it seems like you have not. So
that's her. I totally
the
realized. Grace. What
reason
do you
he
mean?
had the witch doctor there, and did you see this movie?
I'm trying to remember.
No, I'm
Like-
I'm essentially in the same boat as her. It all
Like,
mushed in my
I
brain.
swear
Yeah.
to on my life, I watched it. You can go look on my Xfinity Go app where it says watched with the little blue bar.
That's fine.
I'd
I mean,
Netflix
regardless.
Well, they were wheeling
So,
him around. you
They
know?
were wheeling him
Mhm.
around. He was with a witch doctor at the beginning, a woman, she was speaking in tongues and everything, who told him that if he eats the aliens,
Oh yes, I remember this now.
that he'll gain their power.
when they were eating like the leg or something.
So he gets obsessed when he sees Vicus because he's like, you got their power, like, and I need that. Because one, he can't use the weapons without alien DNA. They're not usable by humans, which is why they were going to use Vicus's blood and saw him as like a big prophet.
Yeah, that was
Profit
scary.
money wise,
I didn't
not
like that.
Jesus.
Or any of
But-
the 12.
Yeah.
Shout out Easter.
But their
Shout
big
out
thing
Paul.
was that we see them scam the aliens. They're often selling meat very overpriced or taking weapons in exchange for cans of cat food because they know how it has an effect on the aliens. So in one scene we see the aliens come up and be like, this gun is like worth like 10,000 cans. And they're like, I'll give you 100 cans. And he was like, yeah, okay.
Just go
And
to
he like
Petco.
hands over the
Oh, I
weapon
remember
that
this,
could
yeah.
defend them. So the Nigerian ends up having more weapons than the aliens have. And he's taken them all for nothing, essentially. And while they can't use them, like, because they're human, the aliens can't use them to defend themselves, which I think they need at that point.
Yeah, so thank you for that.
of course.
So now we go to Alex's EQs.
Yeah,
Oh,
go
my
ahead.
first EQ for all of you to answer is, where were you when you watched this movie?
Oh.
The first time or
Oh,
the
well,
most
you've
recent?
seen it.
Yeah.
We'll do first and most recent
Okay.
So,
for you.
Okay.
Yeah, for
'Cause
you.
we've all-
And
I've-
are we
Go
gonna
ahead.
are we gonna lump in what were you eating at this time?
No, that's the
Yes.
that's the next EQ. Can you guys just let me take my time and space it out?
I'm sorry. So I guess I'll start. I was on my couch, the smaller of the two. I was doing some AP Stats work, and I was with my sister.
Joe.
It was late.
I was in bed watching it on my laptop.
Which laptop? She said smaller couch, so you got to get specific about which laptop.
It was my 2011 MacBook Pro that
Okay.
Maybe
just
snapped.
barely made its way through the movie. Like there was a couple times where it was like, like it kind of like skipped around, but
It was
it
like
kind
waka
of
waka.
It adds to
it worked with the movie. You know, it was like a little glitchy for a second, and then it went back. So I was like, that's cool.
All right, Des.
And
oh,
I was
Ooh.
eating leftover pizza.
You
Oh,
know
wait,
that. You didn't have anything, Des. Where were you the first time you watched it?
I believe it started in theaters the first time.
Whoa.
Do you
And then
remember which
literally,
theater by any
I think
chance?
the next day I illegally downloaded it.
Maybe you
Or maybe
snapped.
I
Downloaded
just
it from
found
the,
a USB with it that was on it
yeah.
and
yeah.
showed it
That's legal.
to like my students at that time. I was like, let's watch this. And then most recently, I was on my couch, watched it on my PS4 while hanging out with Wyatt, my big old boy.
Schindler.
And I won't tell you what I was eating.
Okay, so Alex, what's your
Save it
next
for later.
question?
No, I got to answer my own
Oh,
question.
yeah.
Hello. I was in my dining room. Very weird. That's where I do my homework and my scholarships. So I had my
Were
computer.
you at the chair that's right by the sliding door?
Yeah.
Okay,
and
if
where
we're
I
gonna
think
get
someone's just
specific.
looking at me.
Yeah.
And I was watching it on the big computer, and then on my Chromebook, I was doing my scholarship. So it was very much a multitask type of night where I was.
You look really tall right now.
It's up all the way, this chair.
Okay.
And back to my second question. What was the snack of choice for this movie? Des? And if you didn't have a snack, what would you
what
eat during
did I
this
eat
movie?
During this movie. Oh, I think I had already eaten dinner, but I definitely probably had ice cream. Oh yeah, I had a king cone during this, which I think I had as an answer to a previous. Shout out! I bought.
No, it was drumsticks last time. I think.
Drumsticks.
Oh
clap.
well, it's the same thing. What's the difference? Which one is which?
I can't even think of it.
I ate the round one with the nuts.
Ew, I don't like nuts.
I can't have
Well,
I
those.
would call
really
that one
not.
a drumstick. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, I would
it
call
was a
that a drumstick.
drumstick. Shout out to Costco's because I bought a big old batch. So that's probably why.
A box of boxes.
And maybe I was eating, I might have had fries.
The
From?
first time.
Really, I was eating everything in reach. I was hungry.
You?
Joe.
Joe, what were you eating? I mean, you've kind of already spoiler alerted it, but it's fine.
Well, haven't we been doing this question on like not what were you eating, but what was like
Well,
that's
yeah.
the follow-up question.
Yeah, it's the follow-up if you didn't eat, and if
Gosh.
you want to mention it.
You guys have not let anybody finish a single answer this
The
whole
whole
podcast.
podcast.
So
I get
I'm gonna
excited.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
finish this answer
I was excited
right
to
now.
talk about one of my favorite films as well.
I'm so
So
sorry.
basically, what I was eating, leftover pizza. What I should have been eating was
Cat food.
I'm not huge on cat food. I would go more for like those like bougie dog treats you can get at Whole Foods.
yeah.
That like probably taste like real food. Like I couldn't even. You probably couldn't tell the difference. I feel like Alex has probably put them on a salad at one point by mistake, like going into the prepared food section.
Me?
But,
you
I mean-
definitely could confuse cat food with like tuna or
Oh,
like
yeah,
chicken
For
salad in a can.
sure.
I'm not huge on like the mixing like a bunch of mayo just to make a sandwich. Like,
Ew,
that's
yeah.
not,
That's why I
really
don't
not my
Mayo
jam.
is just not G. It's good, but just like, yeah.
Well,
I'm cool with that on like a McChicken or whatever, but like, oh, hold on, sorry, I'm taking over like for
okay.
2 seconds. Someone put ketchup and mayo on a McChicken the other day.
I will throw up.
I
Dude, it
will
was
throw
bomb. That's the special sauce.
That's
And
a
it
like
made the
Colombian people
McChicken-
do that.
It was like up. It was
I
like way
add
better.
mac sauce to all of
Yeah.
my burgers. So
Fancy sauce.
go for it. Special sauce, fancy sauce,
Yep.
whatever.
Pickles necessary.
Aioli is
Pickles,
good. I don't
absolutely
like
not.
pickles.
No?
I love
No
pickles.
pickles for me.
McDonald's
No
pickles, are
pickles.
so good.
I don't.
Pickles
I'll
are
eat
good.
like a pickle, but I will not have warm pickles on anything.
None of the above.
They need to have some
and
crunch.
they like,
I agree.
yeah, when they have
They
like,
have to have that wavy effect.
I'd rather watch toenails get ripped off.
No, thank you.
The snack that I had was
Yeah.
since I was writing scholarships and at 11 o'clock at night, so I
Yeah.
was
Yeah, I know.
like,
You told us.
okay. And
No, okay.
McChicken with ketchup. I had Mountain Dew, but the Baja Blast Mountain Dew because that's the only Mountain Dew I drink. I try and not drink Mountain Dew because it's pretty sugary.
True.
But I had the Baja Blast. I had 2 of them within like an hour and a half because I was tired. And I had some white fudge pretzels. What's the flips? Is that? Yeah. But I didn't get to open those. Nothing against the movie. I just wasn't hungry. Too much sugar. Too late. My teeth were rotting.
I got
But that I
offered.
would have started to eat that.
I got offered like ramen noodles that my sister had made,
Yeah, the
not like the
shrimp
packet
one?
ones,
Oh.
just like they were like noodles that she made. I don't know. And she also brought home ice cream, but I didn't really want either of those because the movie is kind of grossing me out, so
Yeah.
I didn't want to eat. But as to what I should have been eating, still nothing. If anything, popcorn.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, Alex, you have another EQ?
Yeah, this is my last one. If you could add any character from like any film or movie to join this cast, who would it be?
Or any person, I feel
Person,
like, really.
yeah. I have a character in mind.
I do too.
But
Go
I
for
want
it.
Des to answer first. She
No,
had a
let me
good-
think. Let me think about this. This is a
Okay.
good
All right.
one.
That's a
So
hard
I know
one.
mine.
Who?
Mine is Alex from his Vegas residency in the shower.
For anyone wondering, I'm starting a Las Vegas residency next week in my shower routine. And I'm joining the movie of District 9.
So what does that mean? Like I don't.
We were picking a set list in the car earlier.
You know how when you're in the shower, you just like
You
dance
just-
and you like have fun. Like it's like the halftime show. I'm starting my Las Vegas residency in the shower next week.
How many times have you gotten through the Stars Born soundtrack in the shower?
Too
That's
many
got to be
times.
like hundreds of
Something.
Too
songs.
many times would I
Boy.
just give all of Bradley Cooper solos.
Fair enough. What was the question?
Who would
so
you add
what-
into this movie? Either
Oh,
a
right.
character.
Wait, can I interject a question here? What song would you add to Alex's Vegas residency
That's-
Spotify playlist?
Probably 9 to 5. I mean, if we're gonna be honest
Okay.
here. But the character that I would add, I think, would be Glock.
My dad.
I'd want to see Glock in there.
You
'Cause
know
he
what
seems
my-
I
like
feel like he would
he
fit
seems
in.
like ready to go. He's just like
My
like
dad.
let's get in there.
Mm,
Like
mhm.
yeah, he seems like
Well,
he'd
he
be
was in the
about it.
army, so he's no.
I would want-
That's what I mean. But maybe he'd be able to help out like on the good side. You know?
Interesting.
Yeah.
My King
Interesting.
Navy man. That's who I would add.
Des, have you thought of anyone?
Yeah. Did everyone answer already?
I haven't. But
Go for it.
mine would be Leslie Nope, whatever her name is. I don't even watch Parks and Rec. I've seen scenes of her, and Amy Poehler's so funny, and I just feel like Leslie as like this and this crazy scene where
She would have
everything's just.
revitalized the pit.
She
I mean,
literally would.
district.
Big fact.
I
Revitalize the
would bring-
district,
they were
dude.
doing-
I would add
Parks.
Teddy B. That's who I would add.
I
he
would
can
literally add
revitalize
Leslie.
the
She
District
would-
9.
I like it.
She would be
I like
so funny. She would add a new humor level that this mockumentary added.
Yeah.
The mockumentary did not have.
She'd look into the camera every once in a while
Yeah.
and just be like,
And
She
just
would
the
do-
commentary that she could add, that's it. She's the one.
I just thought of what it would be like if Michael Scott went and had a moment of like panic, like don't let it
oh,
happen.
hold on. I'm switching my answer. Dwight Schrute.
Oh, he would. Yeah. Yeah.
He'd
Yep.
fit right in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Start
he'd,
growing beats.
no, he'd hook up with the Nigerians and be scamming people with cat food.
No, he wouldn't.
Oh,
he would be.
1,000% would.
I think he'd be
He's
a Wickus.
about a buck.
The thing is that he would try to take over that gang,
Yeah.
and he might be able to do it. You never know.
Yeah, or get murdered.
You never know. Or that. I mean,
Yeah.
he does stick out a bit in that
In that
environment.
particular circle.
Yeah,
So
for sure. And if he breaks his glasses, he's screwed.
I don't have funny ones. You guys all picked funny ones.
We
My-
wanted this movie to be funny. It was missing being funny. That's what we're saying.
Do I look like I'd watch a comedy?
There was fun in there.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah. Well,
Little
my
guy.
instinctual reaction would be Ripley from Aliens, or Alien.
Sigourney
or,
Weaver.
Picked the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Alien
he
side.
works with her, so that makes sense. Or Moses from Attack the Block. But this time
I
they're
watched
both
that.
fighting for the aliens to help them, versus they're not going to be with Kubis. Or maybe Ripley would be with Kubis and Moses would be with the aliens because he understands the struggle and is more woke. So then they'd fight each other.
Sure.
Really just like alien battles.
So where was
left
Black
and
Panther
right.
in this movie? I was waiting for him to show up.
Is that a bit R as in
You think Wakanda exists in this universe?
All right.
Maybe.
They showed Wakanda on a map. It's not in South Africa.
all I'm saying
It's
is that
in East Africa.
I didn't see that.
Whenever-
Second, just because you only know 2 movies about Africa doesn't mean they're
I'm-
related.
I have to scream. I've seen The Prince of Egypt.
Wow.
3,
All right,
North Africa. Oh, I used to watch that
Did
movie
you?
all the
Oh,
time.
and they throw the
That
baby. They throw the
soundtrack,
babies with the alligators
Fuego
into the
soundtrack.
water.
Yeah.
That was very reminiscent of when they went around and killing all of like Robert Baratheon's bastards.
Yeah, that was
yeah.
also reminiscent of every time I thought about having a
if
baby.
if District 9 and
No.
That movie is like fire. I have to say
it is
it.
fire. If District 9
So-
and Black Panther collabed, I would just hear Kendrick Lamar saying "Wakanda forever." Big shot. Dun, 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 dun. You know that song, Joe?
Yeah, your West Peabody showing here.
I don't listen. I didn't listen to that.
Okay,
soundtrack.
Gloucester.
Yeah, I don't think any of you can talk in comparison, let's just say.
Big shot.
Except Lily, because I am white.
Straight up.
I know, Dan. You should have told me you were gonna do that. I could have put like the crazy reverb effect on your voice.
I didn't do songs.
Straight up.
Straight up.
What song?
Oh yeah,
do I
what
think-
song would you add to
Oh.
Alex's
Oh.
Vegas residency?
Can we do also what song we'd add to the movie?
I would add. Oh, it's gonna be like a rap song because I would just love to see that happen.
My Vegas residency or the movie?
I know mine.
Your Vegas residence.
Okay.
Do you want time? I know mine.
Go for it.
Mine would be Chandelier by Sia, and then you would come down from the ceiling on
No,
little
that's
things.
In like a
so
bodysuit
cheesy.
with the wig.
With
No,
the
no, he would
ceiling.
come down on the little things, on the ropes,
And
on
what's
the
her face? Maddie would dance
on the
around
silk,
you.
on the silk things, the trapeze.
Oh
version.
yeah,
That's
the-
what it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I
totally.
can see it
Or
now.
George of the Jungle. Same energy.
Watch out for that tree.
George of the Jungle.
Oh my god.
Wait,
Copyright.
so-
Whoever made that.
Copyright George.
George.
Copyright George. Give him his credit.
Southie kid. So
All
Des,
right.
what's yours?
Yeah.
Let's just do let's do Monster by Nicki Minaj. Get that one in? I don't
That's
know.
like
People are gonna be like, "Is that Millie Bobby Brown?" Alex is gonna get his haircut.
here, we'll do the Feeling Myself by Nicki Minaj and Beyonce.
Beyonce.
You
I
could
don't think
go
I could get myself
above
to
and
do- to
Beyonce
rap
with that.
Did you see
Monster.
that video that John
I
Lennon
had
did for
to do it,
Chara?
Joe. I had to.
That was respect. That was good.
I can't pick my own Vegas residency set list
No.
right away.
But
I have to.
What would you like
practice,
to
I
add
think,
to this film if you could add?
to this film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, what goes to mind right now, because we just mentioned Black Panther, is the Black Panther soundtrack. So something that has similar like music styles to
Yeah.
the Black Panther, but also that wouldn't fit into this movie. I don't know how to
No.
describe it. Maybe do a like Steven Spielberg, E.T. and Kendrick
yeah.
Lamar Black Panther collab.
Oh,
Put that on
okay.
this track.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
This is a tough movie to like think of a score for.
Yeah, I don't know how you would like.
I have one.
Categorize stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so I think the real MVP of the story that didn't get a lot of time was Figgis's trainee, his assistant. I want to say his
Oh, the
name.
little guy, and he had a weird name. It was like
Yeah,
Bertice or something.
it's like Mandela,
Mandela effect.
Mindal, whatever his name is.
I
At
know
the
him.
end, he's in the jumpsuit because he's been arrested.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
Oh,
yeah.
So if anyone doesn't remember, doesn't know, so Vickis was training an assistant who sees him get sprayed with the black goo. So when they come out and basically
yeah.
say all the stuff, like all the lies about Vickis, he knows it's not true because he was there.
Right.
So at the end, after their whole like big war with Vickis and the aliens, well, really Christopher, he goes and tells everyone what MNU is up to. So he goes to jail for revealing classified secrets. So I'm thinking Boasty by Wiley should just play as he's in his jumpsuit because he really was like the MVP and had like the big energy of that film at the end. He really like came through and stuck it to the man.
Is there
at
an
the
acronym
end.
for this movie? Like B something E, big blank energy,
Just
Big District Energy.
BD, big district energy.
yeah, I would say he had big district energy.
I would add the
Oh,
final
no.
countdown
for,
where
like-
it's Wickes for 3 years, like putting little lines on the walls and being like ready, like a little montage of him running.
I know this is like past what we've talked about, but do you guys think that Christopher's actually coming back?
I think he'll try, but I mean, like,
I want to see the little guy grown up.
I
in
think after this
Christopher's
podcast,
place.
I'm convinced I never even watched this movie.
I think I have to agree.
I did like the end where they show him really making the flower for his wife.
Yeah.
Oh, that was cute.
Because it was like, you know,
It's a
It-
love story.
Baby, just say yes.
Is that the
but
song
yeah,
you're in?
it was heartwarming.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a good note to end on because
yeah.
literally every other part of the story that they kind of wrapped up with
Yeah.
interviews and everything was wild dark.
Yeah.
And so it was like that was a nice thing to end on because it was
Yeah.
he's still transformed, but like
It's
he
And
still
it's a-
kept his humanity.
yeah. I was
you know?
about to say it's funny to say,
Absolutely.
but shows him kind of more human than he's been the entire rest of the film.
For
well,
sure.
I would say that the less human he became, the more humanity he had.
Yeah.
Because he did not care about those people until he literally had to walk in their shoes. He was never like overtly racist to them like other people were, or prejudiced, I guess would be the correct term.
Woke.
But he definitely did that thing where he acted like, while I'm going to be kind to you, you are still less than me. He treated them like annoying children. And he left Christopher time after time when Christopher would not leave him, and was helpful until he really like thought about Christopher and his kid. And then he comes back and then he helps Christopher. But he was ready to leave Christopher in the dropship the first time.
Yeah.
With the little guy.
Yeah, the guy was like, "Where's my father?"
He's like, "My
and
dad."
he was like, "He'll
listen."
be here." And he was like, "No, father. And you're like,
It was sad.
"Yeah, we never get a name for him. We get a name for his friend, which I thought was the kid's name, but Paul is actually the name of the friend that was helping him collect the liquid." But yeah, the kid doesn't get a name. We should like name him. I
feel like
guess we could just do like a junior.
Junior.
CJ.
CJ. Yeah.
That's cute.
BDE.
No.
District.
Energy.
Uh
I think that's the name of the pod now, right?
hate it. I would like to be CGI'd out of the podcast, please.
We used mocap, so no can do.
Well,
Mocap.
I was going to ask because Peter
great-
Jackson, you know?
well, actually, so since directing his 3 feature films, Neill has gone back to doing short films. So he opened his own short film production studio
That's cute.
called Oat Studios, and they've been working with video game companies to make short films, and they do motion capture.
I knew this movie reminded me of a video game loading screen. There it is.
Yeah, so they do stuff with like the video game Anthem, and they worked with, I'm totally gonna blank on the company name, another video game company to make a series called Adam. So his series kind of break down into like 3 categories. The short films are either like full short films, and that's Raka, Firebase, and Zygote. I've watched them. I've watched all of it. I would say if you're gonna watch one, Firebase I thought had the most potential. Zygote has a disgusting creature. And Raka is kind of like if you combine District 9 and Elysium. But it has a really cool character that's like obsessed with bombs and stuff. And then he has all the motion capture and animation stuff, like the Adam series, Capture, or the Anthem series. And then he has like weird shorts that are
We're all surprised.
they're very Tim and Eric-y,
Oh,
I
really?
would say.
Oh, I gotta
So
check those out.
God, but specifically, and Bad President are 2 of them, a 2 series. But if you like Tim and Eric, there's one called Cooking with Bill. It's funny. However, there's one of them I watched. They're all like 3 minutes. They're super short. That literally I could not eat the rest of the day. It was like even thinking about it now is gonna like really gross me out. But Raka, Firebase, and Zygote are his 3 like sci-fi short films that are really great and worth the watch. I believe Dakota Fanning is in Zygote.
Decode?
I believe that was her.
What was her claim to fame? Like the thing that really got her on the map.
The first thing I can think of is I Am Sam.
I think she's just being...
She's been in tons
Okay,
of stuff.
because all I
especially
can
as
think
young.
about is Twilight for some reason.
Yeah, no, she was in a lot of things besides Twilight. and she
Speaking
was
of
in
Twilight, that's my
Runaways
next
and-
movie.
How many Dakotas? How many Dakotas have you guys met? I feel like that
I
probably
went to
helps,
high
right?
school. We went
There's
to high
2
school with
Fannings,
Dakota.
so they're
Elle and Dakota?
yeah, and they look very similar.
Elle's good.
Yeah, she's in a Neon Demon,
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff.
Cool. So before we fall too deep into the...
Wormhole.
Into like the... Because we'll talk about technical stuff all day long.
Mm-hmm.
I will anyway.
Yeah.
But what like to kind of like close things off, what else what are some like kind of final thoughts that you want to mention on things?
Can I go last?
Sure thing. How about you, Lily or Locke?
Loco. Popcorn,
God.
Alex.
My final thoughts of this movie: video game loading screen with Waka Waka by Shakira playing in the back.
Shakira's from Colombia, so shout out
Yeah.
me Colombianas.
See?
This
See.
time for Africa.
Josiah?
I would say that this movie surprised me because I didn't
Same.
think that, because I had seen Chappie and parts of Elysium, but not any other Blomkamp stuff. And yeah, I like it. I think I'm going to go back for more. Maybe check out a couple of the shorts. But yeah, the CGI really stood up, and I liked how they shot it a lot and how they lit everything. Because it was super naturalistic, but for a lot of the interiors and, you know, the like the scenes where they're in the, what was the place called? MN something?
So it's MNU, which is
Right.
Multinational Union.
Okay. So when they're in that place, when they're like in the house, all that stuff, the vibes matched everywhere. And I thought, like, for a first movie, just the, and it probably helped to have Peter Jackson producing, but just in general, like
Yeah.
the vibe of everything fit, and it
Yeah.
seemed like they matched everything well. And
Yeah.
to have CGI that good 10 years ago in a movie that isn't overlit is kind of fascinating to me, and I would love to know how they did it, because it's dark and it feels like a noir, and shots like that are tough to do CGI in. So I was stoked on that, and it was a good watch minus the fingernails.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that I really liked that aspect of it. I liked the aspect of just the fact that it wasn't overly futuristic, if at all. And I like the idea of having a alien movie or a sci-fi movie that doesn't really heavily rely on the fact that it's futuristic. It was almost exactly the opposite, where it was really mundane life, where these creatures just happen to be quote unquote coexisting, like
Right.
barely, with like the rest of regular society. And the CGI, obviously, you have to give a nod to that, because you didn't lose yourself in it. You didn't lose yourself catching every time it looked a little bit off. You weren't distracted by it. Like, it was, I really liked it. And I also really liked the set of like where they lived in District 9 and like all the little huts and everything. And that really, I think, sent the message home as to how different and how these animals and how these aliens were perceived by everybody else. I feel like that really was a really stark and accurate visual representation of like what this was and like how they were viewed by everybody.
Definitely. I
And,
mean,
yeah.
do you, because I know there's like science fiction and speculative fiction are kind of like, there's like
Brothers.
two sides of the same coin, but this one feels more like speculative fiction as far as like, hey, say aliens show up, like how would humans react?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they kind of filtered it, like you were saying, like through apartheid.
Yeah.
But it was cool that this genre it seems like science fiction, speculative fiction, whatever you like to call it. That seems like such a great genre for this type of like getting a message across, because
Yeah.
there's so much stuff that you can be distracted by during the
Yeah.
movie. But then when you go back to think about it, it's touching on all the issues that you had
Yeah.
mentioned earlier. And it makes you think about it without necessarily thinking about it in the terms that you're used to. So it helps
Yeah.
you kind of reevaluate maybe your thoughts about your life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was super effective at that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you,
So,
Locke?
yeah. Wait, Locke
Or you already
went.
went,
my
Yeah.
Skipping around
I summed
here.
it up in a really short sentence, but
Yeah,
for
you did.
someone who doesn't really watch action movies
Yeah.
or has a real interest in them, like I would never click on one when looking through Netflix.
Yeah.
The way with this mockumentary style and how they incorporated real life and then having this
Yeah.
deeper meaning that I didn't realize until we were now talking about it.
Yeah.
It is one of those action movies where I appreciate it and I think it's something I would watch. Not again, but I would be more like, I was more interested in watching than watching like a Mission Impossible with this cheesy music right after
Yeah.
this big stunt.
Yeah.
All that type of stuff, like that stuff just is so like boring to me. And having movies like this seeing movies like this, it's really cool. And
Yeah,
so,
I get
like-
it. I think that you said it perfectly. Like
Yeah.
I come into this room feeling one way about a movie, but like after fleshing it out and like learning more about it and being able to talk about it,
you got
like
mad respect.
you definitely become more appreciative of it, and you like understand why, and like it's just like it makes more sense. Like everything just makes more sense, and I definitely leave here with a different view than I had when I come in. But yeah. So Des, to throw it over to you to kind of sum it up.
Yeah, I would say I love Neill Blomkamp's film. I like the term speculative. Say it again.
Speculative.
Oh my god.
Speculative.
I like that term.
Yeah.
In my head, I've been just calling it like dirty sci-fi.
Okay, yeah.
So like we're so used to seeing sci-fi in this like polished,
Clean
cold.
cut.
It's really
sure.
you either get a very cold, dark metals and things, or you get like polished and everything's overlit and blown out. And I'm like, it's not interesting as much anymore. It's tiring, and it's not realistic in the way that humans deal with things. That's how it's gonna work. You know, not everything looks like an Apple store. So I really love this film because we get it in a different context. We get it in a different location. In the same way that I like fell in love with Attack the Block by Joe Cornish, because we get to see aliens and sci-fi in a location that we don't normally get, with characters we don't normally get to see that aren't represented on television. That's what I love about television, is because you get to use it to send messages. You get to take an alien film and make commentaries about race and society. Yeah, so I just love this film. I think he did a really good job. I know that Elysium and Chappie weren't as well received, but I did really like Chappie as well.
It's a pretty hyped movie for being your first movie.
Yeah.
I have to say
I would
Sure.
say
that. Sorry, this is off topic kind of, but Elysium reads like Ulysses in my head. I don't know why, but I look at that and it just says Ulysses. But yeah, sorry. Continue.
There's vowels and stuff in there. I could see that.
yeah, so I would say if
There's
you're
vowels
looking
in
for sci-fi with a little edge, or you really liked the Alien franchise or the Predator franchise, that this totally could be for you. Check it out. It's from 2009 but it's
Happy
still awesome.
10-year anniversary to
Happy,
District
happy.
9, by the way. And
I agree. I think it could
thanks
have
to
come out
the
yesterday.
whatever that word is,
Yeah.
of the Hunger Games, any movie that has the word District 9 or District,
Yeah.
everyone's going to think it's the Hunger Games related. So shout out to this movie for being released before the Hunger Games and
Yeah.
establishing its own title.
I think the Hunger Games
Before-
book were released in like early 2000s.
They were way more hyped in the movie, though.
We won't split hairs on this.
Okay.
Who's up for movie choice right now?
That would be me.
Young
Oh
Heart.
gosh. Okay, so
Can you, like, distort her voice?
I have been
Oh, okay, so you're
bouncing
doing the-
back and back and forth and back and forth, and I've been thinking about this. I think since it was Alex's turn,
Yep.
and I'm gonna take a bit of a. I feel like probably the darkest route we've taken.
Dude,
And
we
this-
just watched District 9.
I know, but like it's a different type of dark. It's like sad.
Go
So
off. Go off.
I'm choosing the documentary Dear Zachary. I don't know who it's directed by, but all I know is that it's my favorite documentary. I've seen it probably four times, and like it's just so it captures me. Like every time I watch it, my jaw drops every time, and every time it's just like you can't believe it, and you can't stop. Like you can't take your eyes off of it, or like for me personally. And yeah, so I really would just like to, I don't know, it's kind of like a finite ending, but just to talk about it, I feel like it's a really good documentary, and I kind of want to share it with you guys. So that's my choice for next time.
Should
All
we
right.
do research or go in blind?
Going blind,
Okay.
100% going blind.
Sounds
Gus,
good.
what are your thoughts on the movie?
I lift things up and put them down.
Every time we do Gus's voice, it gets like, which is not in any way what Gus sounds like. If you're
not at
listening,
all.
Gus, we don't think that. But like, I totally do the same thing.
We all go boo, boo, boo.
Whoa,
Wicked funny. Yeah, it's
Love
been
it.
weird not having Gus around the office, but he'll be back soon, and will most likely be a part of the next pod.
Can
Yeah.
you start distorting the audio now?
But yeah,
Let's say
Gus,
straight
I
up.
mentioned
we
this
can mess with it after,
documentary
yeah.
to Gus a while ago, probably like a month ago, maybe
Yeah.
more. And he got really excited when I mentioned it.
Okay.
So I know that he knows about it.
Oh, cool.
And so I know that my choice is definitely like you know what I mean? You want it to be like right, because Alex's was like the favorite, and that was obviously like validated by the Oscars. So like it's like nice to know that like I'm not choosing something stupid or whatever. You know what I mean?
And
But so
our
he knows what's up.
because we have great taste, and we all thought there were
We
good
have-
parts of it.
Well, we have very varied tastes. 'cause-
Very true.
For
But
sure.
like,
Agreed.
it's nothing but respect. Like last time, Gus hated the lighting on a film, and I was like, I love this lighting,
Right.
or vice versa.
Yeah.
So that's all.
But yeah,
I'll
I'm
come with
interested to see
respect.
what we talk about.
I won't do laundry while watching it.
Oof. Oof.
I'll probably do laundry
I
while
won't
watching
have-
mine.
I won't have to write a scholarship during this one.
Okay, that's true. We're out of scholarship season.
I have
Bless.
one more due April 30th, so
All right. Good night,
Okay.
Moon. Good night,
Yeah.
District. Good night,
we'll see you, dear
aliens.
Zachary. Please don't
It's
look
an-
it up
Dear
beforehand.
Zachary, don't enter District
an
9
alien,
unless
bruv.
you're ready.
Brav, it's an alien.
Bro,
Hey, mate.
it's an alien.
Going over to the district. Gonna go check in with some of the inhabitants and see
Wakanda
what they got to
forever.
say.
Your little scroll right there.
We're going all over the place with accents. But Joe, yeah, please take us out. Like I said, if you like aliens, if you like weird stuff, definitely watch it. You have to have a tolerance for gore. Can you do your noise in the accent?
Your
Yeah, mate. All right, everybody. Thanks for sticking around if you did, and we will see you
make it
next
sound
time.
weird.
Peace.